Imagine standing in front of a car, no charging station, no cable, not even a port. And yet, it charges. Silently. Wirelessly. Effortlessly. Welcome to a future most of the world still thinks is impossible, except for one man. Maxwell Chikumbutso. The name that's echoing through innovation corridors across the globe. The Zimbabwean inventor whose ideas have repeatedly defied the odds, challenging everything we know about electricity, mobility, and energy independence. And now, he's doing it again. Hidden away in his unassuming lab, far from Silicon Valley and beyond the spotlight of traditional tech giants, Chikumbutso has unveiled something so bold, so disruptive, it could upend the trillion-dollar EV industry overnight. He calls it green power wireless charging. But don't let the simplicity of the name fool you, this is not wireless charging like you've seen before. It doesn't rely on close contact pads. It doesn't require parking over a coil. There are no charging docks. No cables. No physical connection at all. It's true wireless energy transmission, power sent invisibly through the air, from a transmitter to a receiver inside the EV, allowing the car to recharge itself while simply sitting in a garage, or even while moving. To many, that sounds like science fiction. But to Chikumbutso, it's just science, applied differently. This isn't his first leap into the future. Maxwell first shocked the world years ago when he unveiled a self-powered generator that required no external fuel. Engineers dismissed it. Scientists doubted it. But the machine ran. And kept running. Now, with his focus locked on electric vehicles, he's targeting the most frustrating pain point in EV adoption, charging anxiety. What if you never had to wait at a charging station again? What if range anxiety became a thing of the past? What if your car simply stayed charged, without you even thinking about it? Maxwell's lab has become ground zero for that revolution. Reporters who've managed to step inside describe a surreal scene, cars sitting in a room, silently receiving energy, with no wires in sight. A small black transmitter box sitting on a table. Nothing more. And yet, the EVs come to life. How does it work? Chikumbutso's technology allegedly uses a proprietary mix of radio frequency, RF, energy, paired with a new kind of energy converter he developed, capable of capturing those waves and converting them into usable electricity with unheard of efficiency. Most wireless systems lose energy fast over distance. Not this one. Maxwell claims that his latest iteration can transmit enough power over dozens of feet, without significant loss, and without harming the human body. And if true, it would make current inductive pads and charging cables obsolete almost overnight. His technology doesn't require massive infrastructure changes. It doesn't require digging up roads or installing heavy coils underground. It's compact, portable, and scalable. The implications? Massive. Imagine homes where every car charges automatically. Cities where electric buses power up while waiting at stops. Highways where trucks recharge in motion. Entire fleets of vehicles running wirelessly, seamlessly, with zero downtime. Energy becomes ambient. Invisible. Ever-present. But despite the promise, the world remains skeptical. And that's no surprise. Every game changer begins as a heresy. Maxwell knows this. He's been called a fraud. A madman. A dreamer. But has also been proven right, more than once. So why aren't governments funding this? Why isn't Tesla knocking on his door? Why isn't this headline news? Because radical innovation doesn't come from the comfortable halls of power. It comes from the edge. From rebels. From outsiders. From labs like Maxwell's. And while big automakers battle over battery sizes and charge speeds, Chikumbutso is rewriting the rulebook entirely. His dream? To make energy free and mobile. Not locked in wires, not controlled by grids, but flowing through space, ready to be captured by anyone, anywhere. And in this vision, cars are only the beginning. The same technology could power homes, hospitals, schools. Entire villages off-grid. A developing world supercharged by invisible energy, untethered from fossil fuels or centralized systems. It's no longer just about transportation. It's about liberation. But he faces enormous resistance. Patent blocks. Regulatory hurdles. Skeptical investors. media silence. And yet, he continues, funded by a belief that the world needs this more than ever. Every time a journalist asks him why he keeps going, he answers with a smile, because I've already seen what's possible. His lab remains modest. No corporate signage. No PR team. Just a few dedicated engineers, and a stack of devices that defy conventional understanding. But his message is loud and clear: the future of energy is wireless. And it's coming faster than anyone expects. Those lucky enough to see his prototype in action leave stunned. One witness described it as watching Wi-Fi turn into electricity. Another said, it's like the car is breathing energy from thin air. Governments are starting to take note. Quiet meetings. NDA-bound conversations. Eyes wide. Voices low. Because if Maxwell is right, and his work scales, this doesn't just shift the auto industry. It transforms everything. Phone charging? Obsolete. Grid connections? Optional. Power outages? Irrelevant. It's a paradigm shift waiting to be unleashed. And while tech giants pour billions into marginal battery improvements, Maxwell Chikumbutso is asking a different question. What if the battery was never the problem? What if energy was always around us, just waiting to be tapped? For now, he works in silence. No flashy launch events. No tech expos. Just quiet, relentless progress. And every day, his dream inches closer to reality. Because the world doesn't need another EV company. It needs a revolution. And maybe, just maybe, that revolution started in a small lab in Zimbabwe, with a man who refused to accept that wires were the future. Maxwell Chikumbutso isn't just building a better charger. He's building a world where charging disappears entirely. And if he succeeds, we'll wonder how we ever lived without it. As news of Maxwell's invention slowly leaks beyond his lab, murmurs are turning into waves. In the streets of Harare, whispers swirl through tech meetups and university corridors. Across Africa, young engineers are beginning to ask, what if this is real? And across the ocean, behind closed doors in boardrooms, nervous executives are asking a very different question. What if this can't be stopped? Because if energy no longer needs cables, ports, or plugs, then the very foundation of modern power systems begins to tremble. Utilities, charging networks, energy monopolies, they all rely on the same thing: control. Control of infrastructure, of hardware, of access. But what Maxwell proposes isn't controlled. It's freedom. Power becomes something you don't buy, but capture. Something you don't store, but stream. Just like internet data. Just like light. It's there. You just need the right receiver. And so, for the first time in decades, the future of power shifts from the grid to the air. Skeptics will scream physics. Engineers will demand blueprints. Critics will question scale. But this has always been the cycle. Every major leap starts in disbelief. The first planes were called impossible. The first electric cars were called toys. The first smartphones were dismissed as gimmicks. And now, wireless energy is facing its moment of truth. But for Maxwell, this isn't just about the tech. It's personal. It's spiritual. He often says, God showed me the vision. I'm just building it. A phrase that baffles scientists and inspires followers. Because this is a man who never attended MIT, never worked at Google, and never wore a Silicon Valley badge. And yet, he's done what billion-dollar research labs haven't: made energy float. The kind of progress he represents isn't just technical. It's philosophical. It's about who gets to innovate, who gets to lead, who gets to imagine differently. In a world where innovation is measured by patents and press releases, Maxwell works in shadows. No IPO, no investor deck, just results. And his lab, surrounded by dust roads and far from the spotlight, may just hold the blueprint for humanity's next leap. Because imagine this. A village with no power lines, yet every home glows at night. A school in the middle of nowhere, its computers powered without a generator. An ambulance, recharging as it drives through chaotic streets. A world where wireless energy flows like sunlight, clean, quiet, and constant. This isn't just convenience. It's liberation. Liberation from dependence. From delay. From darkness. And at the heart of it stands one man, calm, focused, quietly confident, soldering wires and aligning transmitters, not for headlines, but for hope. The world may not be ready, but he is. And soon, it won't be a question of if the world changes, but how quickly it can catch up. Because somewhere in Zimbabwe, inside a lab that looks like any other, the future is already humming. Quietly, wirelessly, relentlessly. And for those watching closely, one thing is now certain. Maxwell Chikumbutso didn't just unveil a new way to charge EVs. He unveiled a new way to think. Some call him the African Tesla. Others call him a prophet of power. But Chikumbutso doesn't chase titles. He chases solutions. And his wireless EV charger isn't a singular invention, it's a piece of a greater puzzle. A larger vision where cars, homes, cities, and even entire nations operate independently of wires, grids, or fossil fuels. You see, when Maxwell looks at an EV, he doesn't just see transportation. He sees a mobile power node, a roaming hub, a tool for energy distribution, not just consumption. What happens when cars can send power back to homes? What happens when roads can transmit energy as easily as they transmit traffic? What happens when the entire idea of plugging in becomes a memory? That's the world Maxwell is building. And he's not waiting for permission. Behind the scenes, quietly and steadily, he's testing larger-scale systems, industrial trucks, remote installations, even emergency energy kits that could be dropped into disaster zones and begin transmitting electricity to nearby receivers, wirelessly, within seconds. This is what terrifies the established powers. Because Chikumbutso's invention doesn't just improve upon old systems, it eliminates the need for them. A charging network? Irrelevant. Battery swapping stations? Obsolete. Smart grids? Unnecessary. Instead, he's proposing a future of smart air, where energy is delivered invisibly, like data. Where every device is a receiver. Where power is no longer a product you buy, but a service you tune into. It's as if the world spent a century building railways for electricity, and now Maxwell arrives with Wi-Fi. And the world doesn't know how to respond. But innovators always know. From the moment he unveiled his self-powered generator, from the first whispers of wireless cars, from every demonstration met with disbelief, Maxwell has held one truth: if you can prove it works, the world will follow, eventually. He doesn't shout. He doesn't sell hype. He simply builds. And as more eyes turn to his lab, as more video clips of his charging tests quietly circulate online, as more researchers visit and leave puzzled yet amazed, one thing becomes clear. The future isn't coming from a glass tower. It's rising from the ground. From dusty labs. From overlooked corners. From places most would never think to look. Because innovation doesn't care about geography. It doesn't need a Silicon Valley address. It needs only a mind that dares. And Maxwell dares. He dares to question the physics taught in schools. He dares to envision a world where energy moves through space, freely, bound to no wire, sold by no monopoly. He dares to create not for profit, but for people. And maybe that's why his inventions feel so different. They're not just feats of engineering. They're acts of defiance. In a world told to stay plugged in, Maxwell says, unplug completely. In a world addicted to wires, he whispers, what if you never needed one again? And while governments debate climate targets, and corporations greenwash their profit models, Chikumbutso is already running clean cars without a drop of gasoline or a second of charging downtime. He's not chasing the future. He's already built it. And every time his transmitter silently powers up an EV across the room, we get a glimpse, not just of what's possible, but of what's already here. Still hidden. Still doubted. Still waiting to be seen. But not for long. Because revolutions don't always start with explosions. Sometimes, they start with a quiet hum in a forgotten lab, a flash of light on a dashboard, and the refusal to accept limits. Maxwell Chikumbutso is not asking for validation. He's not looking for applause. He's offering an invitation. To reimagine everything we thought we knew about power. To liberate energy from the wall. To set motion free. And whether the world embraces it or fights it, the signal is already live. The frequency is already flowing. The wireless future is already charging up. Somewhere in the heart of Africa, a car lights up, not because it's plugged in, but because the air around it is alive. There are no cables, no sockets, no stations, just invisible energy, whispering through space, caught by a receiver that listens to frequencies no one else dared to explore. To the outside world, it feels impossible. But to Maxwell Chikumbutso, this is just how energy should behave. Natural, free, unbound. And as his vision unfolds, a deeper question begins to emerge. Was the future always supposed to look like this? Did we, somewhere along the way, settle for less? Did we build towers of concrete, stretch miles of copper wire, mine the earth for batteries, only because we didn't believe there was another way? Maxwell challenges that belief. Not with theory, but with demonstration. He doesn't stand at podiums. He doesn't make keynote speeches. He simply shows. And what he shows makes the world uncomfortable. Because it reveals how much we've invested in limitations. How much we've built around a lie, that energy must be extracted, stored, distributed, purchased. Maxwell's technology flips that model. It doesn't just make EVs easier to use. It makes entire infrastructures irrelevant. Why build a $5 billion charging network when you can beam energy invisibly? Why mine lithium when your battery barely depletes? Why wait for a grid upgrade when the power is already in the air? This is why some are excited. And others? Terrified. Because disruptive technology doesn't just change machines. It changes power structures. Wireless EV charging means control shifts away from corporations, utilities, and even governments, and towards individuals, communities, innovators. And that's exactly why some are already trying to silence him. They question his patents. They downplay his claims. They bury the stories. But truth doesn't stay buried. Not when a car turns on without touching a single wire. Maxwell isn't just proving the doubters wrong, he's proving an entire generation of engineers didn't dream big enough. And now, the world is watching. Not the mainstream media, not the corporations, but the people. Tinkerers, mechanics, students, dreamers, all drawn to the same quiet promise. That we don't have to wait for progress. We can build it ourselves. In villages where electricity is rare, they are testing his transmitters. In garages across Africa, they are studying his prototypes. And slowly, the wireless energy revolution is spreading, not from boardrooms, but from backyards. A silent movement, a global hum, a rising frequency. And at its center, the man who once said, "I'm not a genius. I just listen to what others ignore." He listened to the silence between signals. He listened to the possibility between power and potential. He listened when the world told him to quit, and kept building anyway. And now, we're all beginning to hear what he heard. The buzz of a future unchained. The pulse of motion without limitation. The sound of a paradigm breaking. Not with a bang, but with a quiet, consistent flow of energy that can no longer be denied. Because revolutions don't need permission. They only need someone brave enough to begin. And Maxwell began. In a room with no spotlight. With tools few would understand. With an idea too radical to be safe, and too powerful to be stopped. His EVs don't just move. They inspire movement in minds, in hearts, in entire systems. And if this is what's possible with one inventor, one lab, and one vision, then imagine what happens when the world believes. Not in Maxwell, but in the idea that limits are negotiable. That energy can be everywhere. That charging can be invisible. That progress doesn't have to wait. In the world we've built, energy has always come with a price. Not just money, but permission, access, control. To power your life, you had to be connected to a grid, to a station, to a system. You had to ask, to wait, to pay. Maxwell Chikumbutso's vision removes that barrier. He's not just building a wireless charger, he's building autonomy. And the implications ripple far beyond EVs. What happens when entire neighborhoods can power themselves without fossil fuels or fragile infrastructure? What happens when disaster zones don't need diesel generators, but only a signal? What happens when rural hospitals no longer go dark during outages because their power comes through the air? It's a future most governments haven't planned for, because they didn't think it was possible. But Maxwell didn't ask what was possible. He asked, what if we're wrong? What if the laws we wrote around energy were incomplete? What if our reliance on wires was a phase, not a destiny? And what if the path forward isn't about more complexity but less? A small black box, a tuned receiver, a frequency. That's all it takes. No billion-dollar grids, no kilometers of copper, no heavy investment from global energy giants. Just knowledge, simplicity, and a willingness to challenge everything. And that's exactly what is done. While the rest of the world debates policies, Maxwell is deploying solutions. Not someday. Now. He's powering lights in places that have never had electricity. He's driving electric cars in regions without a single charging station. He's creating proof where others offered promises. And it's starting to spread. Because you can't stop an idea whose time has come. Workshops across Africa are replicating his work. Online forums are decoding his blueprints. Minds are opening. Fear is fading. Curiosity is rising. And soon, the questions will shift. From "Is this real?" to "Why didn't we see it sooner?" From "Can it scale?" to "How fast can we build it?" Because the beauty of Maxwell's design isn't just its innovation, it's its accessibility. It doesn't require rare minerals or massive factories. It requires boldness, a soldering iron, and belief. And that means the revolution won't be centralized. It will be decentralized, distributed, democratized, from garage to garage, from village to village, from continent to continent. And when it fully arrives, it won't look like a product launch. It'll look like millions of people suddenly free. Free from charging stations. Free from outages. Free from the outdated idea that power must be owned, sold, or monopolized. In that world, EVs charge themselves. Homes light up without wires. Technology breathes energy as easily as we breathe air. And history will look back and ask, who lit the spark? And the answer will echo from Zimbabwe to the rest of the world. Maxwell Chikumbutso. The man who didn't just dream of change. He built it. Quietly. Fearlessly. Unstoppably. And now, the hum of that future is getting louder. Not in headlines. Not in stock prices. But in every idea that begins with, what if he's right? Because when belief meets invention, nothing can hold it back. Not disbelief. Not regulation. Not gravity. And certainly, not wires. In a world racing toward cleaner energy, one man chose a different path. Not faster, not stronger, but freer. Maxwell Chikumbutso didn't just reinvent how we charge cars. He challenged how we think about energy itself. And now, a revolution that started in silence is ready to roar. Because once you've seen what's possible without wires, you'll never plug in the same way again. The future is already here. The question is, will you recognize it? Do you believe the future of energy can be wireless? Or is this still too far-fetched? Drop your thoughts in the comments below. If this video blew your mind, give it a thumbs up and share it with someone who needs to see what real innovation looks like. And if you're ready for more game-changing tech stories like this, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell because here, we uncover the future before it becomes the headline.